Alright guys, I wanted to show you the enclosure I made for my CNC. If you're not familiar with my channel, this is the CNC I have. So anyway, this is it in the center here. Let me show it to you in a separate file. This is the really shitty kind of design of it. I just put the necessary stuff in it to know where it all went. So this is that thing that's all blue right there. So that's the actual, it's like a mock-up kind of the CNC. It's not very high fidelity, but it has all the required measurements. Anyway, I'm going to turn that off just for a second so we can see kind of how the thing goes together. So making this out of aluminum because it's a CNC router, it's not a CNC mill. It can't really mill steel. Supposedly it can do some like light cuts in steel, but I'm making this enclosure for it because I don't want to throw chips everywhere. And I want to reduce some of the noise because routers are loud. And I work in that shop, so I don't want it to be super, super loud. So the base here, let's start with the base and look at that. So I turn the enclosure off. So here's the base, and this is actually going to be removable. I'm planning to have that thing bolt on with bolts in there. So this is the stand, and so let me, if I turn the millwright back on here, you can see how it sits on top of these guys right here, and then these black things down here are just representing casters. I have these really cool like leveling casters that I like to put on some of my tools. I put it on my lathe, so I have it on this. There's a door here, and that's because there's going to be a chip tray that I'm going to build that's going to fit in there. If we turn the enclosure back on, you'll see how it's sloped. So as the machine throws chips out to the sides, they'll hit and then slope down and then fall in here, and then in there will be the chip catcher. So there's a door for the chip catcher right there, and then there's a door right here that's going to swing up and out like that, and then eventually I may put some like gas springs in there or something to make it, you know, nice and awesome. But for now it's just going to be like that, and I'll probably just literally just stick a rod in it. I'm just trying to get this thing working good enough that I can use it to build the Iron Man suit I'm building. It's going to be really fucking cool. Subscribe to my channel and you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyway, that thing fits there, and this part right here is a window that I'm going to fill with 2 layers of polycarbonate. I'm going to have a layer on the inside and on the outside, and the reason for doing that is it'll be double paned, and the air layer on the inside will reduce the amount of noise that can come from that router. In between all of these parts, in fact, between every single panel here, I'm going to fill it with like a very cheap, like vinyl covered MDF, which is a super gross material to use, but I need something really cheap because I'm broke as fuck. And then the idea is I can come back and it'll just be bolted on. There'll be a bunch of holes drilled in this and you'll be able to bolt it on. And the idea is I can come back and replace it with like sheet aluminum or something in the future if I so choose. And then, so that'll be on the outside. And then on the inside, there's just an inch right here. So this is 3 inches right here thick. I think I'm using 3-inch by 3-inch tube that's 1/8 inch thick for the legs, and then these top parts here, and then everything else is 1 inch by 1 inch by 1/16 inch thick. So I'm using thinner stuff, and again, that's mostly to save. I would make them out of the same thickness, but the 16th inch stuff costs cheaper. So anyway, there's going to be foam. I'm going to use foam that's 1 inch, and that's going to go on the inside of all of the sheet MDF, and that will be noise canceling. Oh, and there's one other door over here, and that door is going to open up, and I'm just going to buy some kind of cheap hinges to put these on, and I may put some magnets on them at some point in the future to keep them from opening up, but for now this will be fine. This right here is because I plan to put, sometime in the future, I want to put an automatic tool changing spindle on this, and then build an automatic tool changer that I can fit in here, and so I need a blade place to get into the automatic tool changer there. And then I thought it'd be a good idea just to go ahead and have the entire enclosure be able to come up off of that, so it's actually going to bolt in right here. Right here you can see I haven't actually added the angled piece, but I'm going to use a piece of angle, and I'm actually going to machine it down to fit perfectly in here, but there's going to be a little piece of angle aluminum that I'm going to mill down to fit really well in here, and then that's what's going to bolt on, is like there'll probably be a bolt on the lower side that bolts into that 3-inch by 3-inch piece. That's the plan right now, so that this entire thing can go on. Actually, I think the main reason I want to do that is because I think I'm going to need to put the machine on there. I think it'd be hard to lift the machine through the door and get it onto this. I think that'd actually be really, really difficult to do. So I want to be able to take the entire enclosure off, put the machine on the stand because it weighs like 300 pounds, and then put the enclosure over the machine. So this is my design, and it's a pretty solid design, and I literally just did this today. It didn't take me that long to do. I've been thinking about it for a while. But yeah, it's pretty cool. 3 doors on it, and a full enclosure, and it looks a lot like the general shape of like a Tormach. They kind of built their base machine, and they built a stand for it, and then they built an enclosure for some of their newer models. I think actually maybe they've had those for a while, but they have this general shape, and that's generally because the bulk of the machine sits on the big stand, and then you have your automatic tool changer off to the side, and that's a very common shape you'll see with CNCs, especially some of the cheaper CNCs that aren't like super refined in lots of ways. You know, Haas's and stuff, they tend to be like just a big box, and kind of a little bit, kind of see some of the internal structure, but you can really see it on like a Tormach. So this is kind of a Tormach inspired, I guess, stand. Anyway, I think it's pretty cool. I have a gap down here because there's going to be a floor piece on this. I think that's why I have that gap there. Now I'm forgetting why I have that gap there. But, oh, that's right. I'm going to put a piece of wood there because I can't have the tray sitting directly on it. That's what that gap is for. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty good design, and I'm really excited to build it. I'm actually going to build it in the next, 2 days. So if you're into this kind of stuff, I've already asked you to subscribe once. I hate being that YouTuber, but subscribe to my channel. You'll see what I'm doing. Because I'm pretty sure I think I'm completely happy with this design. I think I'm going to pay for the metal tomorrow. I mean, I can still refine the design a little bit after I pay for the material, but I really need to get this thing built because I'm trying to build an Iron Man suit, and I'm trying to do it before I've been vlogging for a year, and I vlog every day, and I'm coming up on a year. So I'm trying to get this thing done before that, and it really won't take that long. I like welding and stuff, so I have a TIG welder, and I'm going to weld this out of aluminum. The reason I'm building it out of aluminum is because I can machine aluminum, so if I ever wanted to make a part that went onto this, I can machine it on the machine. The machine can mill aluminum pretty easily. Like I said, it has trouble with steel. So if I made it out of steel, it would be a little cheaper. It'd be easier to weld, but it wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to make parts for it on the machine. That's the reason I'm building it out of aluminum. I have a lathe too, and the lathe can do steel or aluminum, so I could obviously make parts for it on the lathe as well and put it on here. But that just it makes it more difficult to weld. But I have a TIG welder that's DC. And stuff. And the other reason that's nice is it gives me practice welding aluminum, and aluminum is very tricky to weld, and it's what I'm building the suit out of. I'm building it on this machine. That's why I need the enclosure. So it gets me some practice as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. If you want to see what it looks like in my shop, there it is with all the doors open in my shop right there. And then it's right next to the lathe stand I built. I'll try to remember to put a video here for you guys. There you go. Maybe another one here for the iron altar. Oh, I always get the wrong side. That's my stand. So that stand right there, this thing right here has this angled piece on it. It's my table, and it allows me to bolt down and make these cubic parts. Anything that's a cube. So the plane obviously can be made here, and then I can attach two planes together and form cubes. So I can build something like this very easily on this table. This is obviously a little big for my table, so I'm gonna have to get clever with the way I make it something that large on a table that's smaller than it, but we'll definitely figure it out. It'll be really cool, and I'm actually pretty excited to build it. It's gonna be fun. And I've been talking about building it for a while, but I've been moving, so I haven't actually got to really build anything in a while. So it's gonna be exciting to build some shit. And if you're a fan of my channel, you know I like to build shit, and it'll be fun to be doing that again. You guys are great. Thanks for watching. I am building an Iron Man suit soon, and it's gonna fly. I love you. Bye.